Welcome back, everybody, for the second day of the culminating experience. We have three more presentations this afternoon, and I'm very, very, very excited to present the next student. Her name is Charlotte Lang. I'm going to read a little bit of her bio. Charlotte Lang is a Swiss-Dutch alto and baritone saxophone player and composer from Basel, Switzerland. She has a bachelor degree in music and master degree in music and education from Jazz Campus Basel. Charlotte was selected for the 2023 Sister in Jazz Collegiate Combo directed by Marion Aiden. She sought after as a musician, composer, band leader, and performer. Her presentation is entitled When Music Speaks, and we are super happy to welcome her advisor, Farai Malek, with us. Please clap for Farai. Big clap. And panelist Lee Hiaruvi, another big clap for Lee. Please help me welcome stage Charlotte Lang with a big applause.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to my Culmination Experience presentation. My name is Charlotte Lang, and I'm a Swiss and Dutch saxophonist. The title of my Culmination Experience is When Music Speaks, Reflecting and Composing to Process Emotions of a Female Jazz Musician. Through this project, I aim to delve into the depth of personal experiences and shed light on the struggles I have faced and continue to face as a female jazz musician. These struggles were often present in my life long before I fully understood their nature. My mission is to raise awareness, serve as a role model, and inspire as an educator. My focus will be on reflection, emotional processing, and composing, allowing the music to speak for itself. My presentation will be very personal, and I'm inviting you to join me on an introspective journey. This is me. I'm 13 years old and playing one of my first gigs with my first saxophone ensemble. We had a name, and the name was the Saxo Kings and Queens. You can have a guess who changed the title from the Saxo Kings to the Saxo Kings and Queens. My teachers, friends, and family never questioned me or my love for music. However, everything changed when I started my pre-college education at the age of 19. Music shifted from being a hobby to a serious and professional pursuit. I started noticing that there were hardly any women around me and developed a strong sense of being part of a minority. I began to question myself and my dreams and found myself circling and trapped in thoughts. Women are severely underrepresented in jazz, mostly instrumentalists. However, the issue extends beyond the representation. I assume we are all aware of the numerical inequality. Furthermore, there are problems concerning how women are treated in their workplaces. While caught up in my thoughts, I began reflecting on the emotions associated with my subject. I ended up writing down all the emotions I could connect to my CE. Eventually, I categorized these emotions into 5 groups. As I assigned these emotions to different groups, I realized that they never exist in isolation. They are all interconnected and constantly influence one another. I thought myself trapped in a continuous cycle of thoughts, which inspired my first song entitled In Circles. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. As a next step, I searched for tools that could help me delve deeper and gain a better understanding of my emotions and helping me in breaking out of the continuous cycle of circling thoughts. So I began writing a daily journal. I ended up writing 3 sentences each day, and I did that since October last year. Therefore, I tried to keep it as simple as possible so I could make it really writing down every day. It was more about the writing it down on paper and putting my feelings into words rather than analyzing or collecting statements. Most of the time, I wrote it in my mother tongue, so don't be surprised if you can't read it, which is German or even Swiss German. I now want to share 2 excerpts of my daily journal, and during the presentation, I'm going to share more. How is it possible that my musical ability is being judged through words before I even touch my instrument? Oh, you're the only one. How does that feel? All I want is to play music and return to a time before these questions were asked. In combination to my daily journal, I had the chance to have impactful talks with 4 amazing musicians and out of different generations and different cultural backgrounds. Chris Davis, an innovative and boundary-pushing pianist from Canada. I met Chris Davis through the Jazz and Gender Justice Institute. Nicole Johanken, a German saxophonist based in Switzerland. I had the pleasure of meeting her through the Sophia project. That's her own project, which means Sophia stands for Support of Female Improvising Artists. It's kind of the little sister of the Sisters in Jazz. Joanne Burkeen, a 84, sorry, big difference, 84-year-old American pianist breaking barriers as a woman in jazz and inspiring future generations with her unwavering determination. And last but not least, Sahili Zamora, a Cuban pianist, effortlessly blending her Cuban influences with innovative musicality, empowering and inspiring fellow female musicians. I am incredibly grateful to have had the opportunity to study alongside her in the master's program. For the interview, I prepared 5 common questions and 2 specific questions for all of the participants. However, the interviews evolved in very intimate talks that provided me with a profound insight into different perspectives. I'm very delighted to share some of the statements from these talks, and I'd like to begin with one of the general questions that I asked everyone. Did your gender affect your musical journey? The response that Chris Davis provided to this question was incredibly impactful for me and continues to deeply resonate with me. I don't think I thought about it much. I think along the way, when I felt that there were maybe doors that are never going to open for me, I just kind of took a left turn and went somewhere else and found people that would open those doors. I think it did affect my musical journey for sure, but I tried not to let that dictate my decisions or discourage me from being in the music because I knew that this was what I wanted to do and I was determined. Music for me was a calling. I think it has to be for everybody. It is kind of a crazy journey she loves. If there's a will, there is a way. Another general question that I asked all the participants was, what advice would you share with women wanting to build a career in the jazz world? Here I want to share the answer that Nicole Johanken gave me, because it's giving me a positive feeling as I'm preparing to move back to Europe. Be patient and stay persistent. I am delighted to see more and more female jazz musicians in the Swiss scene. A lot has happened in Switzerland in the last 1 to 2 years. It will certainly take another round. A few generations after you will perceive inequality less. Inspired by these 4 conversations, I composed a piece dedicated to all the women in my life. The composition is entitled Tulpen, which is the German word for my mom's favorite flower, the tulips.
Ooh.
Thank you. The third talk that I had was with Joanne Berklee. The talk with Joanne was very different. We immediately went off the script, and it became more of a general conversation of sharing experiences and me seeking advice. As one of the pioneering women in the jazz scene, her perspective gave me a total different and invaluable insight. To talk with her gave me a whole other perspective, and suddenly everything seemed to be so simple. It somehow is very challenging for me to put this into words, but I believe the selected statement from the conversation encapsulates the essence of what I'm trying to say. I asked her, when colleagues ask questions about my point of view concerning quotas, justice and injustice, etc., I feel a responsibility to know the right answer, but sometimes I don't know the right answer. How do you answer in these moments? And her answer was simple. I've only got one lifetime. There's too much unique music to learn and to play and to uplift and heal other people with. That was all she had to say about that. I found two statements in my daily journal that resonate with the conversation I had with Joanne, or I even shared these situations with her. I want the same education, don't talk, play. Don't explain me how I should feel as a woman. Just as a conversation with Joanne had a different energy, also the next song is going to have a different energy. My intention was to create a composition that exudes a sense of readiness and excitement, seeing the situation but breaking free from established norms and embracing an atmosphere of, okay, let's go for it. I aim to evoke a feeling of zero gravity and the searching for the unknown, challenging societal constructs and defying stereotypes attributed to feminine and masculine musical styles. The last talk that I had was with Sahili Gonzalez, Zamora. 2 months ago, 5 of our BGJI students had the chance to travel to Amsterdam to participate in a contest called Keep an Eye. Me and Sahili were part of it, and guess what? We won the contest. As a band out of 4 women and 1 man. I asked Sahili, how do you feel about that? Her answer, awesome. Women these days, we're celebrating each other instead of fighting against each other. That to me is so amazing. There was no ego. We were supporting each other. The care for each other came out so clear. We were there pushing for each other. Her response, which is very meaningful and profound for me, is strongly connected to the final excerpt of my daily journal that I want to share with you today. I want to pursue this path. I want to be the role model I wished for when I was younger. I can inspire and empower others. Something I was missing in my life and strongly realized when I came to Boston to study at the Berklee Global Jazz Institute was a community and belonging and common ground with my peers and role models. Through the Berklee Global Jazz Institute and the Jazz and Gender Justice Institute and the Berklee College of Music in general, I got the chance to find people I can talk to, people I can trust, and people that experience similar feelings. We still have a lot of work ahead of us, but we are moving in the right direction. The change is noticeable and visible. On that positive note, I want to play for you the last of my 4 songs, which is called Common Ground, because common ground is what I found through all of you. This was an extremely beautiful, intense, adventurous, and exciting year. I learned so much, and I'm deeply grateful for all the experiences and the people I got to meet. I want to thank the Berklee Global Jazz Institute for seeing my potential, accepting me to the Master of Music in Global Jazz program, and sending me on this journey. Danilo Perez, Marco Pignataro, the Berklee Global Jazz Institute is a very unique place. Thank you for your attention.
Charlie, beautiful.
Thank you.
Would you talk a little bit about the music and your
Of course.
compositional process?
Sure. I'm gonna keep it very brief because it's 4 compositions, 5 minutes, so let's see. In Circles is an 8-bar composition that occasionally ventures into a 9th bar, but always returns to the 8-bar cycle. This song was very interesting for me about the compositional process, because I was always, I very quickly had these 8 bars and I was always trying to find the second part, a B part, but I somehow always went back to the beginning. And I think I just had to accept that it's fine to just be vamping, or vamping is too basic, but to see the song as a composition of 8 bars, which sometimes releases in a 9th bar, which is connected to me of the circling thoughts. I want to play the melody again for you so you can hear it. That's one of these turns where I didn't make it to the 9th bar. The second song, Okay. This song, as you heard it, was a time no changes song, and I used George Gershon's triadichromatic approach as a tool for a new and unknown place to go. I was trying to mark it with the colors. I hope you can see it. So the purple ones are the triadic approach. So he's basically taken major, minor, diminished, and augmented triads in different inversions and connecting them with the chromatic tool, which means you move in a minor third and you're never allowed to repeat the same interval. So this led to the song Okay. I'm going to play the head again for you. Well, it's only an excerpt of the head. Exactly. That was my tool to find another way to compose, because I mostly sit on the piano, sing, and see which sounds do I like, and I record myself and I transcribe myself. That is, for example, how Tulpen and Common Ground developed. And Okay was just a different way for me to challenge me to get out of this process. Tulpen and Common Ground are more about the orchestration and the arranging in this context. So in Common Ground, I specifically wanted to have 2 altos because I saw this picture of having me and Katie next to each other, existing next to each other and supporting each other with unison lines, with a talk that we had with a conversation, and with the idea of always having both having the possibility to talk and both existing next to each other. And Tulpen was a song where I wanted to have more female energy, so I added me on the bass clarinet to give more support from the lower register, supporting Kira on the electric bass, and I thank you, Rai, for adding a beautiful voice on it. Yeah, that's me.
Okay, Charlie, so we're going to open now from the panel, question and comment, starting with your committee member, which in this case is Lihi Arubi.
Charlie, congratulations.
Thank you.
On
Thank
the
you,
project, on this moment. Last time we met, I saw something completely different. So it's beautiful to see this music. I think something that is interesting that this project was born from a place of frustration, but yes. I actually feel so hopeful, you know, going through this and listen. And I guess my question will be, the research that you did, in addition to meeting people, was a lot of like inward kind of work. So how do you see this work and this project, either for you or for other people? How do you see it kind of going outwards?
So the recordings that you heard are, I'm going to take them back to Switzerland and mix them professionally and record that as my first album as a band leader. So this is my chance to have a voice and get visibility. I think this is a very important part. Otherwise, I want to be, as I said, my mission of being the role model that I was hoping for and I found here. I want to be that, so I want to create and support the community that is already existing and to network with people. There's beautiful things happening, like the Sisters in Jazz that I, as Marcus said, won in January. I think we should just spread the world and show that we are existing. There's platforms. And I think already being one of these that are actually active in the job is already a big step. Because that's what I learned through Joanne, of like, you sometimes also can take off responsibility and just be you and be present as a woman. Sometimes enough, at least for some days when you can't carry it every day. So yeah, I definitely want to play. I want to be on stage and also as an educator to just show how normal it should be actually, that it isn't actually special. That's the weird part. Yeah, that's also where the frustration is coming from. And then things like I experienced in Panama, the Hijas del Jazz, all of these things. There's a beautiful platform that I just had an interview for the Global Women Hang from South Africa. Organized. All of these are beautiful opportunities for me to not only get advices as I got them through these talks and through the people around me, but also that I can give it back. For example, in Amsterdam we had a coaching by Carolina Strassmeyer, and she is she's the first female saxophonist or musician in the WDR big band. And she was coaching us, and she was blown away. She was like, that's the power, because there's power. There's a different power that we can deliver. And she just reached out to me because she's a big hero for me. And she started a new program at the Folkwang University in Essen in Germany, where she is holding interviews and talks with women that fresh come out of the universities. So I'm going to be one of them, actually, in a week. Yeah, exciting. And that's just beautiful that I can also share my experiences. A lot of young girls reach out to me and ask for advices, and this is just like, it's like jazz, like it's coming, you're teaching it, and that's what I want to be part of as well.
Thank you for your response. I really want to encourage you to continue to do what you do and lead by example. We had numerous experiences together this year. And congratulations for the music and for all the work. There's a few little things with the presentation, probably, you know, for example, the last slide, there was no image like the other ones. Yeah. So a few things could be worked out, but definitely the soul and the spirit is there. And you have so much to celebrate, and I'm very happy to be here today to see this.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lee, and I'm going to pass the microphone to Farai now.
Charlie.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Beautiful
so much.
presentation. And echoing what Lee said, we met on like Thursday or Friday, and this has grown even since then. So congratulations on just always making edits and improving things. Fantastic job. You write with so much heart. Your melodies are exquisite, and the harmonies are sophisticated, and it's so authentic to you. And so I'm just really, really, I'm just really, really pleased with how your music turned out. It's beautiful.
Thank you.
This is something that we talked about a little bit throughout the year, but I think one of the hardest things to do as a woman, especially in music, is just being yourself. Mm-hmm. And just allowing yourself to take up space and being proud of who you are and not letting others dictate who you are. And I think that's the most powerful thing that we can do. And so I think that you've done a really, really, really good job of that. So for the future, I encourage you to continue journaling. Mm-hmm. Because so much of your music came out of that process of organizing your thoughts. So I think that's a really good thing to continue practicing for the future, and envisioning kind of what you want your music to sound like and what you want your artistic voice to be. Mm-hmm. I think you did a really good job of explaining your compositions as well, and I think a lot of that was a result of knowing what you wanted to say before you said it. So I thought that was fantastic. I'm kind of going to echo Lihi again. Can you talk a little bit more about what you want to do with this project in the future? I would encourage you to maybe organize some workshops. Yeah. Or have you thought much about how you can sort of inspire the next generation through tangible like workshops or clinics or things like that?
Yeah, so I actually just, it's very new. I'm going to have a talk tomorrow, an online talk with one of the newspapers that I was writing for this whole year. Every month I was writing a blog. And they're going to give me a possibility to talk about my master thesis. And there's going to be a lot of people, and I hope I can find some fundings to let that grow and to bring the message out there. So I mean, everything that I write is about that, basically. It's about me, and that's me. So I'm definitely going to continue work on that, and it's my life project.
Yeah. Great.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
I think that's all I got.
Thank you.
One last question. Charlie, do you feel different going through that process?
Definitely,
And
yeah.
I don't know if you want to say more or not, but I'll just keep that question open.
I definitely learned a lot to just understand what was going on, because it was a topic that I would almost get mad about it when someone would ask me, and that's not needed. But it's, of course, a lot of frustration. And I think through this year, I had the chance to really have a year time to think of what's going on and how can I process, and maybe I can almost call it healing through like that year. So yeah, I definitely grew a lot. That's what my friends back home say, that I changed. And it might be a little more difficult to work with me now, because I'm just going to speak up if something is not cool. Yeah.
You dig? Yeah, Charlie, congratulations.
Thank you.
I do appreciate having seen the draft. I think the narrative comes so much clearer and stronger now, and I really appreciated looking at it again and with the new narrative. I have to say, your baritone sound is just. I talk as a saxophone player, and it's female male, like it's just not so common to have somebody playing that instrument so beautifully as you do. So I have to say,
Thank you.
And I do love the combination of you and Katie. I mean, you guys made me fall in love with alto again, you know, and I love what you create together, and I know you're not gonna be. Maybe you're gonna be in the same continent.
We are in the same city,
right? Okay. So hopefully this is gonna continue, and I will really strongly encourage. One thing that I appreciate about the way you build your narrative around this very personal presentation, is that there's really a lot of hope the way you end it, right? And it's beautiful that the outlook that you present is a positive one, and you say, change is positive and visible. My first question would be, in any way, because you did mention finding a place in the Institute and at Berklee, could you speak a little bit more about how the environment influence, your music process, your idea, and what you feel you are today?
I would probably say the word is support. The word is respect that we are giving each other. There were quite some moments where back in other universities or other environments where there would be a lot of jokes and a lot of laughing and like no speaking up, because you don't want to be the drama queen, especially as a woman, right? And that's something that I didn't feel here, because there was also, through having more women and non-binary people, it was a more diverse environment which is immediately opening up everyone, I think. So I felt like I can trust, and I can talk about things that I maybe wouldn't share in other places. And to be vulnerable, it's fine. If you cry, it's okay. And things like that is what I learned in this year, yeah.
So would you say that then, supporting the educational environment, it's important? And my question to you, I know you already talked a little bit about advocacy for, the issue, yourself being a role model. What else, perhaps in education, we can do to even speed up this change? Or is there anything specifically that you would like to explore as yourself being involved in the change?
Yeah, it's funny because when I started playing the saxophone, I wasn't the only one. There were other girls, and as soon as I went to being more serious about it after high school, I was the only one. So it's a question like, how can we connect these two parts? And for example, giving women the opportunity to be a teacher, to get an opportunity to be in a position, no matter which grade, but also actually in leading positions. So, for example, when I was teaching at several music schools for years, and I would tell them that I would leave, and I had around the same amount of girls and boys, they would ask me, but who is going to be the next one? It has to be a woman. And I was like, but why? Because you're like, I mean, women play the saxophone, right? And I was like, oh, that's powerful, because that's what they saw. They saw me. So they were like, I want to have another woman again, which was kind of a crazy moment for me to realize, actually, it does have a huge impact who you have as a role model if it's only the music teacher you see every week, because it's normal.
Right. Okay. Well, Charlie, congratulations. I do feel like I appreciate the, how you made an impact talking about something that, could easily be seen as something discouraging but you really, through your personal experience, you're really presenting a hope for the future, and I think you are that hope yourself. So congratulations on everything you presented, Charlie.
Thank you.
Maestro Chase, would you like to?
I'll try to be quick. Wow, Charlie. I was just writing a few. You left me with such a spirit, a vibe that was so authentic to you, and I was writing a few words like generous and like a positive spirit, a healing spirit. That there's such a beautiful way you connected your music in your presentation, and so personal. Actually, there's been a lot of students who have dealt with themes of feminism, but I think this is the most personal I've seen, because you really brought us on your specific story, and it was so touching to see. And I just want to echo, because I think this is so important, something Farai mentioned, the journaling.
Yeah.
I think that is something very special and unique. Mm-hmm. This something that you've brought here to the table. And I wanted to ask you, do the same with the music? Do you journal with your music and ideas as well in the same way?
Yeah, I started a practice journal just because I'm pretty hard on myself if I feel like I'm not doing enough. So writing down what I actually did was helping me to see a clearer view of that I'm actually not lazy, which is sometimes that's just stuck in my head. I think we all deal with that. So yeah, I should continue doing that. You're right, even though it's sometimes very annoying, but it does help. Yeah. Yeah. And I need to find a way to see it in the musical picture. Yeah.
Yeah, it was amazing, because seeing all of this, the work that you're doing. I know how difficult it is to journal. I'm terrible at journaling, so that's a special skill that you've developed with the writing and infusing that with your music as well. I think there's some message there also that you have that could be a whole nother, books and presentations that you could explore, I think, in the future that I think is really special. So I just encourage you to continue along with that, and just thank you for everything you've brought. But this entire year, I think everyone can say you've brought such a very special vision and voice to this program, and just like elevated everyone. So thank you so much for that.
Thank you.
Charlie.
Yes.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm fine now.
Are you feeling good?
Yes.
You finished part of this chapter of your life. I'm very interested in asking you a couple of questions. I would like to hear from you. You had the chance to be in America studying at the global, but you also had the chance to experience a new culture. Did you ever study in the United States before? No.
No.
Before this. Okay. Could you elaborate a little bit if you perceive a difference between European feminism and American feminism, and some of the things that you might have got it out of this experience of learning in the United States?
Mm-hmm. I think it's different for me to say also because I only experienced Berklee, which is probably a very unique place also. But it is a lot more active, the topic. It's a lot more present, the whole thing of gender studies, of feminism. I think I was kind of shutting down the topic in my studies back in Switzerland, because I was just like, with the mindset, you just have to be good and then you're fine. You just have to be a good player, and then you're going to have the opportunities. And there wasn't really a platform for it. I think it is starting now. There's a few women that became the heads of universities in Switzerland. And there's a lot of change going on actually already right before I left. So I think it is a very present subject in the last years. And maybe I started studying right before it actually became a big thing. But I do think also Europe is growing, maybe not as quick as possible, not as quick as here. But I do see hope, and I think that's also part of why I want to go back to also be part of that community and maybe make it a little quicker through my support, because we need some voices there. Yeah.
Beautiful music, beautiful the melody, what everybody commented on the music. I've been enjoying working with you in terms of the intensity that you bring and the lightness about it in the process of learning. I really enjoy working with you. It's been amazing to have you being a part of this journey, and I think there's a lot more coffees that we could do and talk about. You know, I'm interested, and I'm not going to expose it, but I'm interested in if you think that gender equality can be conceptualized without the themes of racial and economic equality. But that's a deep conversation. We can go on forever.
Definitely, yeah. The thing is, I chose to keep it as a woman jazz thing just because I want to keep it very personal.
Yes.
And because I can't speak out about racial issues yet. I mean, I'm talking about it a lot and I'm learning and I'm growing. But I was trying to keep it as me as possible, and that's my main issue is. But I'm definitely aware of a lot of other struggles that we're facing.
Yeah, because the conversation we're going to have is any type of conversation about feminism that will transform the world has to include white supremacy.
Yeah.
Okay. Nice working with you. It's been a blessing. Thank you for being a part of the program.
Thank you, Danilo.
By the way, killing baritone player. I'm a fan.
Thank you.